The legacy of our heroes past is obscure. When I say our heroes past, I don't necessarily mean the political heroes. I mean the heroes of faith. And if we don't take time, I'm afraid the next generation will have to grow up and don't know anything about God's general.
Yeah, that's true. I, for one, I feel like history has been, you know, covered with some certain imaginary blanket. I don't know. But history has slowly faded away from the minds of the majority. And I think that's a huge loophole that can affect the next generation.
Welcome to God's Generals, where we tell stories of men and women who shook their cities with their unwavering faith. Not because they wanted fame, but because they had a revelation of God so deep that it cost them everything. We are your hosts. I'm Joy Aminu, and here with me is.
Agun Michael.
So today we'll journey into the life of a great man whose voice still echoes across Africa and the world. We're not going just to be talking about a man. Well, we'll be talking about a man who carried the devil like mantle. His name, Benson Idahosa.
Right. We'll be talking about a person of late Bishop Benson Idahosa. Benson Idahosa, I think this year would make it 27 years now since his death, and still yet his impact has not faded away. That's the importance of history. Late Benson Idahosa was born in the year 1938, September 11th, and died March 12th, 1998. That should clearly be 27 years now since his death. He was always sickly. Shortly after his birth, his mother Sarah once placed him in a rubbish heap to die, according to the instructions of his father. Unfortunately, he didn't die, so his mother had a rethink and went back to get him up from the ditch, the rubbish dump where he was placed.
So, because of his father insecurity, would have lost a great man.
Yeah, this clearly says that no matter the challenges that you are facing at the moment, there is a greater possibility ahead.
Despite the challenging circumstances of his upbringing, Benson Idahosa went on to become a renowned Nigerian televangelist, a pastor widely known as the father of Pentecostalism in Nigeria. He was also an author.
Yeah, that's very true. And today we'll be jumping straight into the key major aspects of Benson Idahosa's life that we'll be sharing and discussing about. Firstly, I'm going to be asking you this, and I want you to be honest with me. Definitely, you're going to be honest with me. How did you first get to know about the personality of Benson Idahosa?
Okay, for me, the first time I heard about him was from my pastor's mouth. Right, it was during a Sunday service. Actually, I can't vividly remember what he was discussing, what he was preaching. Rather, he shared a story with us how Benson Idahosa command, like the kind of authority he had.
Yeah, the authority commanded.
Government, how the government people of respected him, how he raised the dead.
Yeah.
I guess you know that story of how he raised
the dead. Yeah.
So that was, let me just say, I heard it first from my pastor's mouth. So, and I will not say after the meeting I went home and search. I didn't go home and search, but still yes, I kept hearing it from other preachers more. Then I went to Google and search for his image, so at least I will know the face of this great man. Then when I saw the image, I actually saved 12 his image on my phone. I was actually admiring him, the story I've heard.
Okay.
What are you thinking?
Nothing. I'm just.
So I like the kind of authority he had, but still yet I know go search about his background, his ministry.
Mm.
So I guess the first time I fully read about him was when I was working in a law firm.
Yeah.
My boss had a bookshelf. Then I went to check and I saw this fire in his bone.
Yeah, I guess that was the first
Yes,
book
fire in
I
his
read
bone. And I
about
saw
him,
his
so.
picture at the back of the book. I was like, this is Benson Idahosa. At least let me read. It's been long I read. So I said, let me read. Though as small as that book can be, as small as that book is, I read it for a whole week.
For me,
And when I finished reading,
Yeah.
You know the Taichi's fire in his bone.
Yeah.
I was feeling the fire in my bone. Like, it
It's
was as
same.
if
It's same for everybody.
transferred.
Yeah, it's same
So,
for everybody.
like,
I guess the title of that book came last after the author was done writing the book, because even the author going through what he or she, but I think it's a female,
yeah,
going through what she has written, she herself felt the fire locked in. I guess that was the more reason she had to call it fire in his bone. I'm just saying. For me, talking about how I first met, how I first get to know about the personality Benson Idahosa, I can't really be, certain about it. I can't really be pinpoint the exact point I get to hear. I first heard about him, but I could say for sure that my curiosity grew.
okay.
Right, I oftentimes get to hear testimony in no place particularly. I probably while listening to a message online or somewhere, but I know I can vividly remember I often heard about this man. Of continually keep hearing the name Benson
Yeah,
Idahosa, and
yes. Every
gradually, yeah,
reference
and
we,
gradually my curiosity grew.
yes.
I just wanted to know who is this particular person that they keep referring
Mm-hmm.
to. So I went into research and I got to see a lot of things about him. And during the process of my research, I was referred to the book Fire in His Bones. Right, that was the first book I read about him, and like you said, reading the book, it was really like a fire. Like, yeah, for real, it was me experiencing fire locked up in my bones. I remember being after I was done with the book, I had to do a rethink about my decisions, about my life, and all of that.
It's not only you. I did the same. I did the same. I was like, you need to take your prayer life serious. Look at
Yeah,
you need to just free yourself so that the Holy Spirit can walk through
working you.
you.
Yeah, Benson Dausa was a person who really portrayed the lifestyle of allowing the Holy Spirit move through you, because he did so many sound miracles that seemed so impossible. You get it? It seemed they all seemed. I think literally most of the miracles he did were were so were looking, or rather sounding in the ears like they were so impossible.
What shocked me most about Benson was the fact that he commanded authority and yet still humble. And, and it's very rare. It's very rare. Because
Yeah,
with the way he speak, the way he talk, and you think there's a pride in it.
yeah,
But then you see, at the end of everything, at the end of every story he gives, he tells, he always give glory back to God.
yeah, yeah.
So like,
I can vividly remember one of his messages where he said, "You can't go on with life. You can face through each aspect of life without the help of God. So we must always learn to cry in each phase of our life, in each aspect of our life, any challenge we get to face, and all of that. We must always, build the habit of going back to God to ask God to help us." I think that was where the sound "God help me" came out from. Yeah,
God help me.
yeah, that was where the
I
sound
guess
came
that
out
was the
from.
first clip I watched.
The first story about him.
Yeah, I was like, there's nobody that has ever asked God to help him, that
Yeah,
God
that
never
God refuses to help.
exactly. And let me say, from that day on, anytime I want to pray, if I feel that I'm not connecting, or I just feel
Yeah,
this burden in my heart that I'm not
it's
worthy,
not going well.
all I keep saying is, God
God
help
help
me. I
me.
can say, God help me for. Let me just say, throughout the whole prayer, I can just be saying, God help me. Actually, it helps.
Yeah, and this conversation be will not be complete without talking about his ministry, how
This
he went on
miracle.
with his ministry, the miracles and everything he did. I think one of the most striking miracle I heard of him for me was the miracle where he prayed for a guy who fell from a story building. Yeah, I think that for me that miracle was very very striking, because honestly it seemed impossible for me.
I
You know
guess that's one that I prayed
when
for is that something like that happened in the Bible. Is it Paul
this
or Peter? Paul.
this in
Yeah.
particular, the guy fell
Yes.
and
Same.
broke his skull, and
Yes.
he prayed. Yeah, I remember that also, where Paul was ministering, and thinking about this now, I feel like literally everything that Benson Dausa did can be related to
You
the
get it,
Bible,
you get
right? Even the miracle where he raised
the
the dead.
dead.
Yeah,
He
he
portrayed everything.
literally is like acting out the Bible.
Exactly. He acted
That's
out the
that's a very
Bible.
good
He
example.
acted out every single thing in the Bible. So, one of the story I'm going to start with is about a coffee seller.
Coffee seller. I didn't get to hear that one. Tell me about it.
According to the story, when I went to make my research, one morning, Benson Idahosa was strolling around the city, let me
Yeah.
say. Then he saw a coffee seller shading his goods.
Unsalted good.
So he looked at Benson and said, "Good morning, sir. Today is going to be a great day, and you will make sales something like that." Then Benson, no, sorry, let me come back. Benson, that's how I was working
Okay.
in the morning, and he came across a coffee seller who was shading his goods unsalted, just like he said. And Bessie was not like, "Why so many coffees?" That's not the man laughed and was like, "Today is a good day and he's going to make more shares because someone is going to die today." Believe me, that part shocked me myself. I was like,
Yeah.
so people did a pretty similar other person
No,
die.
not necessarily that he was praying for someone to
Yeah,
die,
but it was not to
but
make sense.
it's normal. Surely people must die.
So Bessie that also looked at him dead in the eyes and say, "Pack close your shop, pack all this goods inside now, close your shop, no one will die today." The man thought it was a joke and he was laughing, but you see that's when I look at him. Except you want to use one of these, you should pack and close your shop. And the man, of course, he
With the
got
fear
her,
and
yeah,
everything.
he
So
packed
much
and they say
authority.
throughout that day nobody died in the is it country or the city of I can't remember vividly.
Wow.
So nobody died and like
Just a statement from a
just
man.
yes, even life and death responded to his voice. Like
Definitely.
so it was when I read it that part that the man was like he was going to make sales. Then I was not thinking there are people that is praying for you to die. Right?
It's quite striking to me because I see this as a normal orbit in life. When I say orbit, like a normal routine in life, right? Now, what I see it to be, every day people are born, every day
Yes,
people
yes,
die,
yes.
whether old, young, you know, any class of age. People get to, give birth, other people get to die, right? Just like Joshua in the Bible, he commanded the sun and the stars, something that seemed very impossible. Now, speaking of Benson Dausa, commanding a normal life routine to take a hold for that day. So much authority, so much
Just
power
like
in
what
his
we
word.
said earlier on that he actually acted out the Bible.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
every of his
It's like playing
miracles,
out.
he
It's
can
like playing out.
relate it to one Bible stories or the
Yeah, it's like
other.
playing out the person of Joshua in another format, in another
Wow,
dimension.
wow.
Yeah, very striking. Also, there's this miracle of ease where he predicted. Should I use the word predict? Not really. He made a prophecy of the exact score Nigeria was going to make in a particular game.
Yes,
Yeah, when he was supposed to use the particular stadium for the match for his personal program. Speaking about this, I just remembered this other conference he was going to hold where witches were also going. Listen out, Benson Dausa's miracles.
miracles.
Like you
Or
just can't.
is it the one he slapped a boy with asthma and the boy got healed?
Slapping the asthma out of
As funny as this can be, it's happened.
slapping the asthma
It's
out of the
happened.
guy instantly. It's striking, and I believe with this we should understand that there is nothing impossible for God to do. There is nothing clearly impossible for God to do. As long as you can think about it, God can actualize it. If only your faith can carry it, right? If only your faith can carry it. God is ready to actualize it for you. This is the importance of history in its essence. Talking about this now, I already am feeling, the possibility in God. It's already given me this should I use the word vibe that God is an all doing. As much is an all knowing and all doing. He's ready to do the impossible. Speaking of the impossible, imagine Elijah telling a lady to go and borrow kegs and all of that. You're familiar with the story. Imagine that kind of thing. As long as you can think about it, it can be possible. If probably Benson Idahosa had just imagined this miracle becoming possible and had related it to a friend, the friend would look like, how on earth are this supposed to be? How on earth are this supposed to come to pass? But with the power of God involved,
Yes, yes.
there are numerous possibilities.
So, to you, our viewers, who may be wondering if such men still exist, yes, a lot of them. Should I say some are hidden?
Yeah, I think for me, the only reason why most of them are not, you know, quite obvious to see, it's not very common nowadays to see, such stuff is because of yieldedness. You know, most people tend to pray a lot. In fact, I think in this our generation, people are more engaged in prayer,
Prayers,
yeah, rather than before. And I'm not trying to dispute that fact. It's a very good thing to be engaged in prayer. But as much as you're engaged in prayer, you should be ready to yield yourself to the leading of the Spirit. Because the Holy Spirit might be leading you to do something. I remember a story from a book I read, some other book. From that book, I figured something very profound. The guy in particular, the Holy Spirit communicated to him during one of his exercise, morning jogging and all of that. So he was jogging through the street, you know, and he saw a certain school bus, you know, taking students and all of that. And he saw this particular child. The mother was, taking the child into the bus. Unknown to him that this school is not the regular kind of school. It's school for what do they call them now? The disabled, people with disabilities. Yeah, special school and all of that. The Holy Spirit communicated to him to go across the road and go and communicate to the boy and pray for the kid. And these are little children, not even adults this time. They are just kids and all of that. He felt reluctant. He didn't want to because he was scared that what if I go and nothing happened? And moreover, I don't even know them. I don't even know what's wrong with the child and all of that. After fighting with himself and all of that, his friend, the Holy Spirit can be very dramatic at times. Due to the fact that he was fighting himself, his friend, by the way, a little recap. This guy in question is on a retreat at that time with his friend.
Okay.
He went on a retreat with his friend. I think about 3 days retreat. So during one of the morning, he just decided to go for a jog and all of that. So back to where I was. Now he was feeling reluctant to do what the Holy Spirit was instructing him to do. So his friend called him. His friend who he went on the retreat with called him and told him, "You better do what the Holy Spirit is asking you to do because the Holy Spirit is already disturbing me now." so so the guy was shocked and immediately he went across the street. This is where it gets really interesting. He crossed the road and went to the other lane and begged the mother and said, "Please, I want to pray for your child." And the mother was like, "Okay, go ahead, do your thing." So he held this child and was praying. He was not certain of what he was praying about, but he was just literally praying for this child. And suddenly, guess what happened? The child fell and died.
Jesus.
Immediately, you see the crowd gathered, he bowed between this boy burst into tears and started crying. I was begging God, "God, you're the one that instructed me to come and do this thing. You're the one that instructed me to come and do this thing. Why would you fail me at this point?" Then he held the child again, and the Lord told him, "Keep praying for this child." Now he prayed for the child. The child stood up and started singing. Now, later I got to understand that this was the boy speaking after everything. That those crowd that gathered It was God trying to announce him, trying to gather people for his. You understand what I'm trying to say? Now, God intentionally allowed that child to fall so that he would gather the crowd to come and see what the
My
vessel that he has already prepared.
God,
So this guy literally prayed for that child, and everybody was about. The driver immediately held on. The driver that was already honking the bus that, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, like I'm in a haste and all of that.
let's go.
This driver packed the bus, lined up all the students. When you're a man of God, you need to pray for them one by one. Somebody that was literally not ordained suddenly became a powerful man of God. The
Wow.
next day, he started seeing himself on social media. The news has carried it. He was on newspaper and all of that. His family started reaching out to him to find out, the full story of the whole thing that happened. This is how much God can do with us if we simply yield to Him. You
Yeah,
understand?
yeah.
So the story was very, 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 you
I'm
know,
shocked.
because you
I
can imagine,
really,
like, seriously, when I was reading it, I was like, wow, wow,
and that is one of the importance of having a friend that has the same vision as you,
yeah,
and that you guys are, like, should I say, the same, going the same direction in
yeah,
life?
yeah, yeah.
Should I? So that is one of the reasons. I did be he had he don't he was not related with that his friend, and they were no, maybe the Holy Spirit come and talk to him, ask him to do this, and he feel reluctant to do it, and maybe why should I do it?
For me,
Just
I feel like the importance of the Holy Spirit cannot be overemphasized because the Bible said something. It said when Jesus was leaving, He said, "I am going to send you a comforter," and the Holy Spirit is literally like that comforter. He gets
yes,
to position
he is.
and set everything in our life, organize everything in our life to a point that everything we at the end, or rather on the long run, work together for good. So you get what I'm saying? Putting the friend of that person in that person's life. I think even trying to choose your friend with the help of the Holy Spirit is part of yieldedness
Yeah, yeah, yes.
because He knows the perfect people who He can use in your life. Because
Mm-hmm.
our friends, you understand. So
Yeah,
that's how it was. Also, praying is part of it. Yes, studying of the Word is part of it.
yeah,
Miles Morales made a statement. He said, "Take your time to pray. As much as you are praying, when you are done praying, also take your time to meditate because praying is literally talking to God.
yes,
Meditation is literally waiting on God to give you a response. Now, after getting the response, you get to yield to what He has said."
yeah,
When He made that statement, it was really, really touching for me. It was really, really touching because I imagined the fact that sometimes people don't take their time to wait on God and hear what He has to say.
yeah.
Now, from that process of hearing what He has to say, you get the information He's passing across, and then you yield to what He has said.
And to you, the viewers, I don't want you to just listen to this as history. It's a blueprint. The life of Benson Idahosa is the life of heededness. He gave his all to God. He, he was willing to go the extra mile just to win his soul. He was so thirsty for souls.
Yeah,
And
the life of Benson Idahosa was a very, very dramatic one. Even if we spend the whole of today trying to figure out, or rather, talk about the life of that man in particular, it would not be enough because the emphasis are much. The miracles, this everything that God did with him was much. So if you yield yourself to Christ, there's every possibility that God wants to create these wonders in your life. God wants to make your light so shine that men will see and glorify Him in your life. So, dear viewers, I urge you to, even as much as you've listened to this, even as much as you've heard our conversations and all of that, take your time, go through history. You can get books like Fire in His Bones, in particular, if you are concerned about the life of Benson Dawson and you want to know more. You can get Fire in His Bones. You can also get the God's Generals, even which is our emphasis. You can get the God's Generals. There you can even see other anointed men of God, the one that has passed and the ones who are still existing. Their life, the things they went through. The Bible said something about Elijah. It said he is a man of like passions. These men are men of like passion. They go through the same pain we go through. The same. Some of them went through the same, you know, challenges and habits we are going through and feeling like there is no possibility of us coming out of this. You can go through their life and from there you build your faith, learn the strategies they used in
yeah,
going through these things. And God can help you pick out your breakout point from there.
And who knows, you might be the next Benson Idahosa of our time.
Yeah. Please do well to subscribe, follow, share this with friends and family if you are newly joining us. Share this with friends and family to in in this manner you can pass on the understanding of this, pass on the knowledge in history so that other life can be transformed. Thank you very much for joining us.
Until we meet again, I remain your host, Joy Aminu.
And I am Agun Michael. Thank you.